I have had too much caffeine, and I have some good news.
Hey y'all. So I want to clarify, the good news, my life situation is still the same. I still have all the nonsense I talked about in the last video, but today I went down to the Stanley Mosque courthouse because a few weeks ago, like 2 months ago maybe, I filed my papers for a name and gender change. Those were the subject of my trip there today. So I'm sure you can already guess that I'm really happy. Also, I have, again, an unnecessary amount of coffee, and I've drank, it used to be up here, and so I've had about half of it. Um, Sleep be damned. But it's also contributing to my good mood, so it's a thing I need. So yeah, go to the courthouse. I'm there to see if my name and gender change have been approved. Okay, so I walk in. I'm like super nervous. Here, let me start before I walk in. I get there. No, let me start before I even get there. God, I can't get this straight. Okay. Yesterday, or even Sunday, I was supposed to check on the court website to see if there'd been like a judgment on my paperwork, if there was any kind of information. And it turns out with this specific kind of thing, they make you show up in person and then they can tell you whether it's approved or not. They don't necessarily need to. For some reason they just do, I guess, so they can give you paperwork or tell you kind of like more about the process. It makes more sense, having gone through it, why you need to show up than if you just were talking to someone else who wasn't really sure why they needed to be there. So I get there, it was at 10:30 this morning. I got there like, I want to say at around 10 o'clock. I was super nervous because I couldn't find a ruling on the court website. I wasn't sure what was going on. I was asking one of my friends, like, is this right? Is this the way it's supposed to be? Do I need to bring extra paperwork? I'm like freaking out. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't want to have to deal with this again. I don't want to have to file the paperwork again and do all the fees again and stuff like that, because like that would have really sucked. It was a lot of money to file all this stuff. So I find the courtroom. It's on the 4th floor, and I walk up to the door, and I'm kind of confused because there's nothing going on inside. No one's in there, and there's benches outside, so I just sit down on the bench. Some people walk in and out. I'm not really sure what that's all about at the time, but eventually it comes around like 10:15. I get up and I go walk in, and so I sit down, and one of the people, like as I'm sitting down, tells me, hey, go outside, check to see if your name is on the schedule today, and there should be a number next to it. That's your number. When we call you, you tell us what your number is, and then we tell you whether you're approved or not. So I went outside, checked my number, got that, went back inside, forgot what my number was, went back outside, checked it again, then went back in. At this point, it's about 10:25. There's a bunch of people sitting around me, and they started in the row in front of me. So they're going through people, coming back around, and then they get to me, and I'm like, I tell them my number, and it was approved. It was approved. It was approved. Yeah. So in a week, I get to go back for the decree, and then I can get conformed copies of all the paperwork and send it out to the proper agencies, and I'm officially Morgan. Oh my God, I'm so like, so when they told me, I'm like, I'm not stunned, but like right up to the announcement, I'm just like, oh, please, 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 like, approve it. And as soon as they told me, it was just like, all this pressure was released, and I had to like hold back tears because I'm like, oh, finally. I'm even getting a little teary now about it. It's just like, it's so good. And so I walked out of the courthouse all just like jazzed and really happy and stuff like that, and I still am like really happy about it. It's not just the caffeine. Like I really am like, of course, I'm just so happy that they got approved. So then I come back home after a while and like tell all my friends, tell my parents, and I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, they got approved. Oh my God. Like, I'm just, alive with the energy of this news. So that's like the big thing today. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today was I had to go see my doctor up in Hollywood today, and I wanted to take public transit because my driver's license is still expired. I'll probably go to the DMV and deal with that tomorrow. But so I'm on Google Maps because I, believe it or not, well, not, I don't know, whatever. It may come as a surprise to you, but not everyone has ridden the bus before on their own. I'm one of those people. I wasn't necessarily afraid of the bus, but it was a really hot day. I'm wearing shorts, and I'm like, I really don't want to get harassed on the bus or on my way there. So I was pretty nervous, aside from the fact that like you have to have exact change, 7 quarters, it's $1.75. Get in. So like, I'm on Google Maps, and I find the right route to get to where I need to go. And so like, I'm getting ready, it's coming time for me to leave, and walk out the door, go down the street, and it turns out that either the first bus that I wanted to take was early or late or something like that, but I decided, like after I was sitting at that bus stop for a while, that I wasn't going to get that bus. I don't really know why. And so then there's another bus stop kind of around the corner. I went and chose the Google Maps directions for that bus stop. Still said it was going to the right place, mind you. And this is going south. Like, the bus stop is on the street in a place where if the bus is coming up to it, it's going south. I needed to go north. But I wasn't thinking about it because it's right at a corner, and I figured, oh, the bus is just going to turn around the corner and then go up that street, and it'll be going north. So I go back to the other bus stop. I'm standing in the shade, like everyone does. And as the bus starts rolling up, I start like getting my change out and stuff like that. I get in the bus, and I start putting my change in the machine, and of course the bus starts moving, so I'm like, like I fell over a little bit, but I kept putting my change in the machine, walked off, the bus driver thanked me, I'm like, all right, cool, everything's pretty chill. And then it dawned on me that this bus is going the opposite direction that I need to go, and it's going further and further into a part of town that I don't really want to be outside walking around in. So it's just like a not very inhabited part of town. It's Vernon. I don't want to be outside in effectively exercise gear walking around in Vernon. Sorry. So I, about 3 or 4 stops later, realized that like I need to get off this bus because I'm just getting further and further away from where I want to be. And I'm looking at Google Maps and I'm watching it. It just keeps going further and further south, away from the directions that it was giving me. And I got on the right bus, mind you. It said get on a specific number bus. I got on that specific number bus, and it was going south. Now, admittedly, there was something I could have misunderstood about this entire situation, but the numbers matched, and so I figured that was correct. I don't know. Again, I've never ridden the bus before, like the public transit bus before, in my entire life. Like, I haven't had much opportunity to before I moved out to Los Angeles, and I've always had a car. I've always had the ability to just travel on my own in LA, so I never really had any reason to take the bus. I've taken the metro before. I've taken like the subway system before. That's not a big deal. But buses are like an entirely different animal to me. So the bus is clearly going the wrong direction. I put my phone away and I reached up and just hit the stop button. Luckily, I hit it right when we got to a stop. I got out of the bus and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm kind of screwed. I'm going to miss my appointment because there's no way I'm getting up there on time. And I pull out my phone and I'm like, all right, cool, I have to go back home and just like be home for the day. So I had to call a Lyft line. It cost like $3 and some change, which I absolutely hated having to do, but I was too far to walk. The bus has already gone like 2 miles and it was really hot outside. So, and I know 2 miles doesn't sound that bad. It was like over a bridge, through some other crap. Like, I just didn't want to walk back. So like, that was really kind of crappy. Like, I didn't necessarily mind it. It didn't like ruin my day or anything like that because I had an awesome morning. But it was really weird that like Google, which is so good giving directions in so many other scenarios, would provide directions to somebody that are extremely confusing at best. Like, it was clear that the bus I was on would never go north once I got on the bus. So I don't know how that number coincided with the direction I needed to go, but it didn't work at all. It clearly didn't work at all. So I got back home and I'm just like chilling or whatever. I didn't really do much else. I ate, and I just started like working on redesigning my website just for fun. I don't really know if I'm actually going to make it a thing, but I don't know. It's a complete departure from the one I have now. It's very, it's much more minimal, less visually intense than the one I have now. There's no video. Although I'm kind of thinking, I'm still like in the design process, so I'm not really sure whether I want video yet. Like in terms of like whether what I want to show will load quick enough to be video. Because right now on my website, you can check it out. It's morganisaacs.com. Please check it out. There's a lot of video, and unless you're on like some kind of Wi-Fi connection or like a fast mobile connection, it is admittedly a little slower than it needs to be. It's not that it's the individual elements, like the graphical elements, are super heavy, but it has to load a few video files as like backgrounds to things. So in the new version, if I want to show, say, a phone, like someone holding a phone or just a phone kind of floating in the air with like interfaces animating on it and stuff like that, that would likely be a video file of some sort, and it would have to not be really heavy because I want to kind of change that and make it lighter. And I have ways to do that. It's not like I'm putting gigabyte-sized videos on my website. They're like a few megabytes, but yeah. So that's kind of what I've been doing all day, and yeah, that's like mainly the whole day for me. It's just like I said, today would be a better day. Today was a much better day. And again, nothing about my like personal life has changed. Everything in yesterday's video is still whatever, but I'm just really happy about the name change. The bus thing was just whatever. It didn't bother me at all. I mean, it was frustrating and it was annoying, but it's not like a persistent thing because like I told some of my friends about my bus shenanigans, and they were like, oh, that's why I never take the bus. Don't take the bus in LA, whatever. And they all had their reasons for why you don't take the bus. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but there's other people, lots of people take the bus. Surely it must work for somebody if they're on the bus. So I just need to figure it out. And yes, I could ask people. It's called social anxiety. I don't want to ask people. And yeah, I was just kind of surprised. Like, I used to have the same mentality before I'd taken the bus anywhere, that I was like, yeah, I don't really want to take the bus or anything like that. Like, I was genuinely kind of afraid of it because, like, if the bus goes through kind of bad parts of town and some not so great people get on the bus, you know, start harassing me for whatever, like, that would be really terrible. Like, when I was waiting at the bus stop I got off at, waiting for the lift, somebody in a car, like, rolled down a window and yelled something at me, like, with aggression. And I didn't hear what they yelled. I heard them yell and I ignored them. But, you know, that shit happens. And I'm just sitting there on my phone, like, doing literally nothing. And they're yelling at me, whatever. But, you know, it was, I don't know, I want to say it was shitty, but it really didn't affect me. It was just like, oh yeah, there it is. Like, that's all. But yeah, overall, hold on, let me drink some of this coffee so I can never sleep. But overall, it's been a good day. I am working on selling this iMac. I don't know if you can see it. This iMac right here behind me. It's from 2007, so it'll probably not go for much money, but it's better than nothing. And I've been just transferring stuff off of that onto my other computer all day. I tried to do it wirelessly at first, but both computers have an Ethernet port and I have a cable, and I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing to try and do it wirelessly when I have a cable. And so I just plugged them both in and it's all done. So that was kind of a positive thing too, like getting all that done. And yeah, it was kind of a good day. So I don't, oh no, I do. So, yeah, now comes the part of the video where I tell you things that you probably already know, and if you don't already know it, then awesome. Well, not awesome, but whatever. So, me and Melinda and I, God, I always get that messed up. Melinda and I have an album out. It's called Mandala. It's about relationships and creation and destruction of them. And album art, and you can download it. You can buy it on Bandcamp for $4. It's cheaper than where it is on iTunes. It's better support for us than Spotify. And if you're not in France, you're not going to be able to listen to it on Deezer, even though it's there. If you don't have a Tidal subscription, you can't listen to it on Tidal, even though it's there. If you use Napster for some reason, it's there. I'm not going to hate on Napster people because surely you have a reason. I'm not going to hate on anyone. If you like our music, you like our music. If you listen to our music, you listen to our music. And I thank you very, very much for doing so. But if you want to buy it, get it from Bandcamp because that's what supports us the best. The link is in the description. Also, talking about support, going back to me saying about my life situation and all that stuff and going in with selling the iMac, I have a fundraiser up on UCaring. The reason it's on UCaring is because UCaring gives you the most donated money. So like, UCaring doesn't charge any fees. I'm not honestly sure how they do it. I read how they do it, but it seems like some weird funky magic to me. So the only fees that UCaring has is for its payment processor, WePay. And that's like, I don't know, I think it's a flat fee or something like that. It's minimal compared to the other websites. So I have a fundraiser set up just to get me to the end of May. If you'd like to donate anything, the link's in the description. And it would be absolutely, absolutely appreciated. Well, yeah, like of course it wouldn't be appreciated. Of course it's appreciated because you're literally helping me with exactly what I need. And yeah, okay, so that's actually everything. Thank you. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.